Welcome everyone to The New Fly Fisher. I'm your host, Phil Rowley. On today's show, we're fly fishing Wabamun Lake, a trophy pike fishery located a mere 1 hour from downtown Edmonton. This is a fantastic fall fishery. We're going to show you some of our favorite pike tricks. It should be a great show. I know you're going to learn a lot.
Oh, baby! Look at that fish. Very good fish.
Another fine, beautiful steelhead technique.
This is a good example of the family haptogeneity. This is why you need a lot of backing.
The New Fly Fisher has been made possible thanks to Orvis, Ontario, yours to discover. Islander Precision Fly Reels.
Today, the New Fly Fisher crew is targeting pike on Lake Wabamun, located less than an hour's drive west of Edmonton, Alberta's capital. With a population of just over 1 million people, Edmonton offers numerous attractions including museums, professional sports teams, and the world-famous West Edmonton Mall. Wabamun gets its name from the Cree word meaning mirror. It is an easily accessible, relatively large shallow lake providing perfect habitat for trophy pike and large lake whitefish. In 2005, Wabamun suffered a serious oil spill because of a train derailment. Wabamun recovered, and in conjunction with catch and release regulations, provides anglers the opportunity for huge pike rivaling remote destinations. Joining me today is local angler Bob Chapman. Bob has a wealth of experience fly fishing lakes such as Wabamun. His knowledge and experience will be invaluable.
We haven't chosen this place by accident. We're sitting here, we've got an outflow from a power plant. This raises the water temperature a good 5 to 10 degrees depending on the time of the year. This attracts the lake whitefish, the main prey item of the large pike that are in here. And so what we're doing right now, we're first in the morning, we're using some topwater flies to see if we can get some active fish. If that doesn't work, we're going to drop down and fish some streamers. So we're trying different areas. We've anchored in the middle of the channel. The channel's a little deeper than the surrounding shoals. Pike are ambush feeders, so we're looking for places that they can come out and ambush their prey. We're starting out, we've got some surface poppers on. We're playing around with different retrieves. Every popper or slider seems to have a different frequency to get the most action out of it. So we're trying fast, slow, erratic, stop, start, and trying to find a player that'll come up and hopefully chow down our poppers. And if that doesn't work, we'll change that to some streamer flies, and I'm sure we'll be successful with that. Well, I've been trying the topwater here for about half an hour with no results. We've had a few pike rolling around. Bob's just switched over to a small white streamer and already had a grab. So perhaps with this bright light, they're a little less inclined to come to the surface. So I'm going to put the 10 weight down, pick up my 9 weight, and go get him with this white streamer.
Yeah, first, yeah, just finally got a ripple here and broke the surface up a little bit. We got a little one that grabbed it anyway. So.
Yeah, it's kind of slowed down midday.
Yeah.
It was reasonably good this morning, and then the high sun came out, got flat calm, but we've had a bit of a breeze roll in, and
yes,
now we seem to have a player. Not the largest Wabamun pike by any stretch.
Yes.
Do a little oral hygiene on them. But again, we're just targeting these weed edges. We're sitting in a channel. Bob's been working his fly in towards that weed edge, and that's where pike are going to sit and ambush. As we cruised in, we saw a couple of fish, small ones, and a couple of big ones, and just have to get that fly out of his mouth.
Can't see it. There we go. Once I can see
and
it.
Mangles that up.
Yeah.
Good promise for the future. If he survives his bigger brothers.
Yeah. Oh, there he goes.
Pike are an efficient predator living primarily on the flesh of other fish. However, pike are not averse to eating other prey, including frogs, mice, waterfowl, even its own kind. Pike is a master of camouflage, laying in wait for a likely meal to stumble into its area. Preferred pike haunts include weed edges, inside corners, and tree stumps. Anything that provides cover.
Splat. So we cast that out. We let the rings of its arrival dissipate. Fish on, fish on. There we go. Doesn't feel like a very big one, but nonetheless, we've got this current tongue. Comes out from the discharge, the warm water discharge. I let the fly cast it out, let it sink for about 10 or 15 seconds, and then just started a slow strip. These fish seem to be a little inactive, so this slow strip, well, now this thing's taken off, it could be a better fish. Oh yeah, now we got some action here, so I'm gonna clear the deck and get my fly line up off the carpet so I don't step. Keep the fly tight. Stay tight to the fly. You wanna stay focused on the fish, but whenever you can, try to gain the line. So, whoa, 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 whoa. This fish is really giving a good tug. Yeah, I don't think we're... Once I get the fly line up, I might change my position in the boat here. And again, I'm using side pressure. By fighting the fish with the rod in my belly, I get the full action of the rod. When the fish runs, I raise up high and he gets the tip. Down low, I defeat him. Oh, he's all right. He's all right. Bob's got a cradle here with him, which is perfect for pike because they're long. They often get tangled up in the net. Well, this is a nice Wabamun pike. Good way to spend a day. Again, we're just some 30 minutes from the West Edmonton Mall. All right, this pike's lying at rest right beside the boat in the cradle. The pike have teeth, so you need to extend your fingers because this is not a place you want to be sticking your fingers down. And I'm just going to reach in. What I do sometimes, if I can, try not to use a jaw spreader, but we may have to on these ones. A little bit of a hard tool on the pike sometimes, but necessary. They're like a... Okay, so that holds them out. I've got gloves on here. And this is a... Oh! Let's try this without again. And sometimes it's better just to cut the hook off, but we'll see if we can get this out. These things, when they attack a fly, they really go at it. So I'm just going to try and get my finger just under his chin here. And that often opens up. Okay, I got the hook out. Now he won't let go of the pliers. Okay, we'll put him down again. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Open up. Got a small hook in here. There we go. Fly out, pike's resting comfortably. Wabamun has a unique thing here. In the 1st of October, to prevent snagging of the whitefish, you have a hook gap restriction of no more than 10 millimeters. So this is an intruder style fly, like a steelhead pattern, that uses a small up-eye octopus, number 4, and it holds very well, and I'm able to still throw large flies to attract a large predator. So we're just gonna, oh, you can see he's very happy. He's trying to drown me with his tail. These are very hardy fish. We'll just grab them. We got these gloves, and there you can see a gorgeous Wabamun pike. Okay. Got a gorgeous Wabamun pike. We'll just gently lower him into the water, and there's pike 2, perhaps 3 times the size of this in this lake, and only 30-35 minutes from the West Edmonton Mall. What a great place. We'll just hold him out there, let him rest. These fish are all muscle. There he goes. Off. We should get some more. So my fly's just landed, letting it sink about 10-15 seconds so it gets down. We're in about 6 feet of water. Pike don't seem to want to come up. We're going down to them. What we're doing here is just using a strip, pause, retrieve, and this is why flies can be so effective for pike, because the fly moves slowly just above the bottom. So by stripping and pausing, the fly is pitching up and down, and when pike are a little inactive, that pitching up and down motion they find irresistible. If they're really happy and active, sometimes just a steady, brisk pull, but this morning the strip, pause, retrieve seems to be working best. Oh, I just had a take. Just at the pause, I just stripped in, the fly settled, and the line went tight. We'll throw back out there again. These are very aggressive fish, and they will come back to the fly.
Yeah.
Very subtle take. It just went tight. It just felt strange. I set into the fly, and a little bit of struggle broke loose. So we don't know how big this pike is yet. They tend to fight the first part of the run a little slow, and then they kind of wake up and start pulling line all over the place. Oh, well, that happens. Pulled it out, but again, we're just casting, letting the fly sink and swing, and that pike actually took the fly on the swing. I actually saw the floating line start to straighten, lift it in, woke the pike up, he started shaking, and we had him on for a bit. They're stacked up in this channel, so we'll see if we can get another one. When you come to Edmonton to sample some of this fabulous Wabamun pike fishing, there's a few things you're going to want to bring along with you. You might want to consider rods from 10 through 8 weight, not only to throw large flies, but for the size of the fish that we can run into here. Remember, this is a trophy pike fishery right next door to town. We got fish 20 pounds and over.
Another thing you might want is some polarized glasses. Great for cutting the glare down off the water for sight fishing. Also cuts the glare down just from the sun for your eye protection, and also protects you from errant flies that might be around when you're casting.
Also, you want to remember to bring some good tippet, wire tippet, heavy braided leader, 50 pound, for bite resistance. These pike take flies with a vengeance, and a good pair of HEMA cuts like this so you can cut that product easily. Your standard nippers will not work.
Another handy tool is the long handle forceps for getting down inside, pulling the hook out without damaging the fish. Very handy for when you're fishing for a trophy pike.
And lastly, if you can, bring a cradle. Far friendlier on a pike than a net. Pike get into a net, they fold up nicely, but then they get stuck in there and they can be a little challenging to get out. This supports the fish very easily. The fish remains calm, you can remove the fly and let it get back swimming in the lake and go perhaps catch it in another trip. So again, these are just some of the things you want to consider when you're coming to the Edmonton area to fish Wabamun, or any other pike lake for that matter. It's really exciting. I just had one follow. When you're fishing these big streamers, you fish them right to the boat. The fish are attracted by it, they follow. You look down, polarized glasses help not only for eye protection, but also to see into the water. And you'll see this brown olive log sometimes about a foot behind the fly. Sometimes you can just raise the rod tip, stop the fly, flutter it down, and they'll pounce right on it. Very exciting fishing.
Got one hooked up here.
Well done, Bob. So you just let that sink,
Yeah.
and the pike, seeing that
Just the
fly
hesitation
flutter and
for
fall,
it,
that white marabou, and just pounced on it.
Hesitation for 30, yeah, right beside the boat actually, not that far out really. See if I can get him on the reel here. And
You don't accidentally step on. Maybe we can get us a double header. Maybe it's that big one that I saw rolling around a few seconds
No, I
ago.
don't
Oh,
think
now he's
that.
woken up.
I think he's just a little bit bigger than that one you got. But
Oh, good. We're going in the right direction. It's always that way. Everybody gets a little bit bigger than what I got.
come right into you there.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he's
I don't know
not
if
quite
he's ready
yet.
yet.
Not quite ready yet, I
So we'll
guess.
have Bob lead the fish into the cradle.
There he comes maybe this
There
time.
he comes this time. Oh, perfect. Well done, Bob. I'll let you do the
There we
honors
go.
on this one. There's the gloves. Bob's putting on a pair of gloves. These pike are slimy. Oh, well done. The fly's already come out, Bob.
Oh, perfect.
That's the way you
Even
like
easier,
it.
yeah.
That's the way you like it. So I'll just
Quick
put that out of the
peek and we'll
cradle
let him
for you.
go.
And pass the cradle over to you and let you do the honors. Let's take the time here to show you what we've got rigged up here today. We've got about a 6 to 7 foot leader of about 25 pound monofilament, loop-to-loop connection to the fly line, down to a number 12 or 14 barrel swivel. From there I tie on my wire trace, these very supple wire tippet materials you can get nowadays, down to our fly, which happens to be a half and half, a hybrid between a Clouser minnow and a Lefty's deceiver. And this system works great. The swivel helps pull things down. We're fishing 3 feet into about 6 or 8 feet of water where this outflow is, and works good too because the two materials, there's no incompatibility issues because they never touch. So this is a great setup when you want to fish streamers to large trophy pike, well, basically pike of any size, but especially the trophies we have here on Wabamun just outside of Edmonton. Right on the edge where this outflow is, on the edge of the weeds, we've seen pike cruising through here, so they're kind of covering the area. We're seeing the odd one roll around. So we just got to come up and find one that's in the mood for a little perch colored half and half. Like that one. Oh, it's a little guy, but he followed right to the boat. A little tiny guy, but that's a good sign of a healthy pike fishery. We got youngsters in here. So even at this young age, they're predators. Look at that thing, sideways in the mouth. But see if I can get him to let go of his, what he thought was lunch. But he followed right at the boat. Trouble with these things is once they get a hold of it, they don't want to let it go. And even at this young age, they still got a set of needle-like teeth that can put a hurt on you. But whoa, there's a little pike full of energy. So he'll go back and come back in a few years and he could be a trophy. Just show you here a selection of streamers here we're using today for these big trophy Wabamun pike and pike in general. A lot of saltwater patterns that are very adaptable to the pike world. Here we've got a combination of a Lefty's deceiver and a Clouser minnow called a half and half, kind of tied in a perch color scheme with the olive saddle. Traditional chartreuse and white Clouser works very well. Dumbbell eyes really jig the fly up and down. This is a variation of a pattern of mine called the popsicle leech, tied in an all white motif, if you will. Very effective bait fish pattern. This is a steelhead pattern called a mole, mother of all leech. It's got a supple braided Dacron core, small stinger hook at the back end, and when you're fishing a big fly and you don't want to have the problem of a large shank levering against you in the fight, that small hook really holds well. Very hard for the pike to throw this fly once it's taken. Traditional Lefty's deceiver, greenbacks, chartreuse backs, blue, gray. Predominant feed in here is perch and whitefish. Then a big attractor fly. This is a Highlander series designed by Stu Thompson, and this is nice, almost fire tiger color with the yellow, orange, and red. Very good attractor fly. When they're really aggressive, they really hit these hard. So there's a good selection of pike flies you want to consider when you're coming out pike fishing.
Our most productive fly today was the half and half. Here is a tying recipe for this fly. The dumbbell eyes cause the fly to ride inverted and pitch up and down during the retrieve. This pitching motion works well when pike are in a neutral or negative state.
Yeah, I just decided to try a different spot on Wabamun here today. It's sort of early afternoon, got a little hotter, so decided to try one of the weed edges. Maybe the pike have moved in for a bit of cover. The water is a little cooler over here, but there's a nice drop off here leading off the weed edge into the main lake. So they got lots of cover. There should be some forage fish inside the weeds, so gonna give it a try here for a little while and see if we can get one out of the weeds.
There we go, there we go, there we go. And we changed up flies here. Oh, I don't know if I can stay with him. He's running at me. Well, what we did here is we just changed up. I put a half and half, which is a blend of Lefty's Deceiver and a Clouser Minnow. And now we're clearing the deck. So we're not sure how big this thing is, but he slammed this pretty good. And this is a perch color, which is olive, some chartreuse, some white, which is the predominant feed in here along with whitefish. So again, match the hatch. Give them what they want, give them what they're feeding on. Pike a couple of runs out of them, but each runs sometimes into your backing, and 2 of them's enough. I'm done. I'm tired.
Once alerted to potential prey, the pike positions itself for ambush. When the unsuspecting victim enters its field of attack, the pike lunges forward. Relying on sight and lightning propulsion, pike rarely miss a target. However, if the attack fails, the pike will not pursue its prey. It simply returns to its ambush post to wait for a new opportunity.
Now he came at it, and so we'll get him in here nonetheless and send him on his way. Oh, he's taken off. Oh, maybe I can. He just pulled out there, but that's a nice pike. Right. That's all right. We're gonna let him go anyway. But there's a change of fly. First cast, bang, he was on it. Well, Bob's gone up to get the boat and trailer. It's been a gorgeous late September day. The fly fishing for pike here is only going to get better as it gets into the winter. It's a fantastic late fall, early winter fishery. If you're coming up here with a group, you're 35 minutes from the West Edmonton Mall. If somebody doesn't like to fly fish, they can visit the mall. You can come out here yourself and experience this fabulous fly fishing for yourself. For more information on this and other shows in our informative series, please visit us on the World Wide Web at www.thenewflyfisher.com.
The New Fly Fisher has been made possible thanks to Orvis, Ontario, yours to discover. Islander Precision Fly Reels.